Charlie Kirk once again had to explain this little thing called reality to another college student who just, they mean well, but they're a little too on the woke side, not really caring about facts and more about emotional reasoning for why such and such needs to happen. Before we get into that, make sure to subscribe to Resist the Mainstream to ensure to YouTube that you're enjoying these videos so they'll continually show up in your feed and then it will push it out to more people. I'm Titus. Let's get into this video.
Abstract, and I wanted to take things to a more basic level. It seems like a lot of the problems that pertain to the black community just have to do with class and wealth in general. And I guess my question is if black people just are at a lower place as a group, how can they advance themselves if there's so many things getting in the way of people making money, just working multiple jobs, having to raise a family and all these things? I feel like that's a big problem here that people don't really talk about.
Sure. So if you want a ticket into middle-class America, put a mom and a dad in a home.
I can understand that, but I say as things stand, that's not how they are, and there's so many building blocks and so many roadblocks that have been placed.
I am curious, what is the building block that is preventing black men to stay with the women they impregnate?
Whoa, Charlie. Spitting a little too much facts, my man. Bring it down a couple notches. No, but in all seriousness, I love when people say there's so many building blocks preventing people from having the family unit, or preventing people from making it in this country. And I'm sure Charlie Kirk will go into this a little bit later, but there's nothing holding you back other than a mental enslavement that has been propagated by people that don't want to see you succeed. That's all that it is, because you can make it. You can make it. If you apply yourself, if you work really hard. Obviously, some people are a little further in life just from the start. Totally, I'm not gonna gate that. 100% true. But there's opportunity in this. If there's anywhere in the world where there's opportunity to go from nothing to something, I mean, you're all valuable. Human life is valuable. But in order for you to go from rags to riches, or whatever you want to call it, have-nots to the haves, however you want to word it, it's possible in this country. You can do it. And it doesn't mean you're going to be a multimillionaire or a billionaire or anything like that, but you can make it to where you're a thousandaire, or you're just doing well, able to provide for yourself and your family. That is possible. Apply yourself. There's certain things that you can do, and it doesn't need to be social media, because that's what everyone wants to do now. Everyone wants to be famous. Yeah, plumbers are here make good money. Electricians, things that just that are always going to be a thing that is needed. People are always going to need their toilet fixed. People are always going to need their sink fixed, and all this stuff that you can make good money on. People just either don't know or are unwilling to do jobs that can get them the life that they actually. So there's no building blocks preventing me or any other black person in this country, unless there's a physical ailment you can't control, and there's certain things you can't do. That's a whole another story. But if you're a regular, able-bodied individual with some level of competence, you can make it.
Sure what that building block is, except be a man and don't abandon the women that you impregnate. Minor detail, but I will give you a policy detail. We do subsidize single motherhood via Lyndon Baines Johnson Great Society program, where sometimes, in some circumstances, black women or any woman can receive more money from the federal government by remaining single than actually getting married. This is an ultimate example of a good intention that leads to an awful policy, okay? The intention is we want to help single moms, right? But then it actually encourages the woman to stay single, because as soon as they get married, they might lose the check from the federal government. Now, that is not as simple. That is one solution of many, but more than anything else, that number, the target number that impacts all the other numbers, and here's how I know this is true, okay? Because a white kid in America that grows up with just a single mom is less likely to succeed by all agreed upon objective metrics than a black kid that grows up with a mom and a dad. If you have a strong parent presence of mom and dad, you're more likely to graduate high school, get a job, stay out of prison, and enter into middle-class America. That right there is the one thing that has been proven. Guess who agrees with me? Barack Obama agrees with me. He used to say this all the time until the left realized that this was a political liability for them. The left used to talk about putting fathers back in the home. Chris Rock used to joke around, he still jokes about it a little bit, but Dave Chappelle, they always said, why is it that we are putting up with a culture in the black community of fathers or dads abandoning their kids? That number right there can fix 100 other numbers, and it's not racism that is doing it. Do you have a thought?
That is so true. The culture, man, there's so many people that don't have fathers. There's a lot of deadbeats. And if they just had that father, that person to look up to, the person to teach them discipline, work ethic, how to be a man, how to protect women, all these things to like just kind of raise you so that you grow up into a mature, upstanding citizen of our country, of our world. But a lot of guys don't have that. They'll have just one element, the mother aspect, which is obviously good and necessary and needed, but it might lean a little more into an energy that does not really fit the masculine individual. And it kind of will make you irrational. And then a lot of masculine attributes will be corrupted through a feminine light. And obviously there's a lot of things that go into the culture of a whole bunch of stuff, but there's a lot of elements that go into it. If you have a good father and a good mother in your home, the conducive way to have a successful life as for any child. And so we need to fix that ASAP.
Really quick.
I guess my question is, who created that culture by forcibly taking all these people to America? Like, that's all I have to say.
Well, so that's an interesting question. So more blacks are here today due to their own voluntary movement than ever being forcibly brought to this country. I'm not sure if you knew that or not.
But those aren't the people who have had like decades and generations of not having wealth. These new people are like some of the top people within their society. There's a brain drain.
I wouldn't say that about Haitians, because they come here with very, very poor earning potential, but they build a life. You can say that about some Nigerian immigrants, but especially from the Caribbean, they enter at the lower rungs, and they have to make decisions. Every person's an individual. But you make an interesting point about intergenerational issues, right? So here's the good question. And I could tell you're coming at this from a good place. Do you think we're more racist or less racist than we were in the 1960s, generally as a country?
I'd say generally less.
Okay, I agree. Instead of just focusing on racism or policing or this abstract, the thing that is staring us in the face, that is so obvious, is that generation of young blacks are raised without a father figure. And that's unfair to the mother, it's unfair to them, it's unfair to the rest of the community.
That's so true. It really does boil down to like parenthood and having a man in your life as a man and a mother. You need both. You need 100% need both. And when you don't have that, there's so many statistics that like he stated earlier. Barack Obama said that having a father in a home completely eradicates a lot of the things that have happened statistically. Like a lot of people that don't have fathers in the homes are more likely to be susceptible to crime, getting involved in things that they shouldn't be getting into because they don't have that man to be like, hey, no, we don't do that in this house. And many other reasons as well. And it's just like, if that got fixed, we wouldn't focus on police brutality, wouldn't focus on all these other things that aren't actually the root cause for why people are acting out, why young men are abandoning the woman that they impregnate. These things would not happen if we had two-parent household. And so a man and a woman. I think that's just the most conducive way to society. It's been proven statistically, and it sucks that it's not a talking point on the left it used to be, because at least that's something that we probably both would have agreed on, no matter what side of the political party you're on or political aisle. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to comment down your thoughts below. I really want to read them. Charlie Kirk, once again, opens the eyes of a college student. Hopefully they shift their mentality and or at least take some seeds of truth from that. Or maybe just planted a seed for future and maybe he'll become the next Charlie Kirk. Who knows? I don't know. But if you enjoyed this video, again, comment, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.